Namaste and good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all safe and keeping well. I am Rajat Acharya. I'm the marketing specialist at Agile Solutions Private Limited, and I will be your moderator for the event today. And on behalf of this event's organizer, Agile Solutions, co-organizer All Technologies India, as well as Microsoft, who is the event sponsor, I welcome you all to this webinar on the future of banking with customer relationship management, CRM. Thank you all for sparing us your time during your busy work hours and joining us in this session. We are really glad to have you all here. And as you can see, we have representatives from various banks joining us today, and I'm sure this will be an extremely insightful event for us all. Now, on that note, I would like to walk you through our event schedule for today. As you can see, our keynote will be delivered by our special guest, Mr. Afif Mohammed Ali, who is with us today. Mr. Afif is the Managing Director at Microsoft for Bangladesh, Brunei, Laos, Bhutan, and Nepal. Next up, we have Mr. Rajiv Tyagi. He's our expert, and he also serves as the Head of Dynamics Practice at Alitech India. And he will give us a brief overview of CRM and why it is imperative for the banking industry in today's modern world. And finally, we have Ms. Anchal Berwal from Alitech. She will be guiding us through the Dynamics 365, which is Microsoft's CRM solution, and showing us its key features and why banks should be using Dynamics. So that's all about the event today. Now, before we dive directly into the session, I'd like to quickly remind everyone that this webinar session is being recorded, and the recording will be mailed to the participants separately after the event for your reference. And you may have noticed that your mics have been muted by default. If you have any questions, if you'd like to raise any queries, you can simply save your questions for the end, where we'll be holding a Q&A session. Or if you have any immediate queries, you can simply use the raise hand option, which you can see in your Microsoft Teams interface to ask the questions, or you can also write the questions down in the chat box and our experts will try their best to get back to you. So these were the event guidelines. Before we kick the session off, I'd like to introduce you to Agile Solutions Private Limited, the organizers for this webinar. We are a business solution provider company offering consulting, implementation, and support services in ERP, CRM, and business intelligence solutions. Our services include Dynamics 365 CRM, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, formerly known as Dynamics Nav or Navision, which is the ERP, and for which we are also a Microsoft Gold Certified ERP partner in Nepal. Then we have Power BI, which is the business intelligence tool, Microsoft 365, which most of you may know as Office 365, and of course, Microsoft Azure, the suite of cloud applications. Over 12 years, we have successfully provided over 100 implementations for organizations in and beyond Nepal across multiple industries, ranging from automotive, manufacturing, trading, retail, healthcare, non-profit, government sector, and of course, banking sector. Which brings me to one of our ongoing CRM projects, which is implementing Microsoft Dynamics 365 solution at NIC Asia. And NIC Asia, as you all know, is one of Nepal's fastest growing banks at the moment. So the focus of this project was around sales, customer service, and marketing module. This was one of our successful implementations in recent times. So that was all about Agile Solutions. Now, to officially begin our session, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Afif Mohammed Ali, who is our keynote speaker for today's webinar. He is the Managing Director at Microsoft for Bangladesh, Bhutan, Brunei, Laos, and Nepal region. He is a vastly experienced professional, and he has tremendous respect and reputation across South Asia for his mentorship, for his keynotes, and continuous innovation in Microsoft business areas. And now Mr. Afif will be addressing the changing landscape of technology in the modern world, and how CRM has evolved, and how banking industry has evolved, and how Microsoft is continuously innovating and improving to address the challenges faced by banks and banking industry today. So I would now like to invite Mr. Afif to please take the center stage and address us with his keynote without further ado. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rajat. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Namaste. Can you guys hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you well, sir.
All right. Okay, great. Okay, I'm Afif from Microsoft. I'm terribly sorry for not being able to actually join the session face to face, because of the pandemic situation. But it is truly a pleasure joining you all virtually today. Before I actually dive into my keynote, again, I am not going to spend, half an hour just on the keynote, but I'd like to thank all of you for investing your time in attending today's session. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank and recognize NIC Asia for being the first bank that adopted Dynamics 365 through our partner Agile Solutions, of course. And I know more will be underway, after this session. So globally, we have been engaging more than 60 financial services regulators. These are literally the central banks of the world, or the governing bodies for insurance, for the past 12 months. The conversation has actually changed a lot from, I can still remember 4 years ago, where, a lot of these central banks or, government institutions are saying a cloud is no cloud at all. And 2 years ago, when I continuously meet them, they also shared with me that cloud is inevitable, but it is not the right time for them to actually move yet. And recently, there's been a lot of changes, around the conversation. More and more central banks or the FSI regulators are asking us to share with them and tell them how to get there safely and compliantly. So, those are the, basically the changes that's taking place, from 4 years ago until now. So back in 2018, the world actually generated 2.5 quintillion bytes of data daily. So you can just imagine the amount of data that the world has generated. And you can imagine right now, it is actually a lot more. And for that, more and more companies are actually spending on cybersecurity. By 2021, it is expected that the world will be spending about $6 trillion on cybersecurity alone. Okay, so and with the pandemic, G20 leaders already injected $5 trillion into the global economy to do what it takes to tackle the pandemic. All right. From Microsoft's standpoint, the way we want our customers and partners to envision digital business, it all revolves around the 4 pillars. And, I'm not in a position to share each and every one, but I'd just like to summarize. The way we look at things is around empowering your employees, which we believe is, extremely important. You probably want to look at optimize your operations as well, and start engaging your customers, as a third pillar. And, last but not least is to transform the products. As with any pandemic situation, there comes a lot of opportunities where FSIs are able to actually transform some of the products that you have in mind right now. And as FSIs, we see all these components being extremely important and critical, particularly when it comes to engaging your customers during the pandemic. And we'd really like you to start exploring and providing seamless experience to your customers by leveraging our CRM, AI, and Power Apps. Okay, so I'm not going to take too much more of your time today. So I'll leave all of you to learn and share your experiences in taking the digital transformation journey. And I look forward to engaging each and every one of you again in the near future. All right, and with that, I thank you, and please do enjoy the session.
Thank you very much, Mr. Afif. I hope that was really insightful, and indeed Microsoft is really focusing on digital transformation and creating these accelerators for every industry, and banking industry in particular, because especially the way you talked about the billions and trillions of data being generated every now and then. It's been very sensitive. It's a really progressive industry, and it's a really complicated industry, and often we see that banks are the first to embrace technology and to really deep dive into the complicated aspects where other industries seem to be reluctant. So I think that's one of the key takeaways from your keynote speech. Thank you, sir, once again. Next up, We have our expert from Alitech India, who is also the director and head dynamics practice there, Mr. Rajiv Tyagi. He has a session, short session focused on the overview of CRM, what CRM really is, what it can do, and what it means to the banking industry in general. So I'd like to now hand over the mic to Rajiv sir, so he can deliver his session, and then we'll get to Ms. Achal, who will give us a solution walkthrough. So I'll leave the stage to you now.
Thank you, Rajat. Thanks, Afif. He had set the context. What I'll do is I'm using this deck, and just to set the context, that I would like to walk you through with certain statistics and what actually are the current market drivers and the trends which are happening, especially in the banking and financial services industry. And then we'll focus that what is the relevance of CRM? Why and what will it do? So CRM has been there for ages, but it is also changing day by day. And then we will have the CRM walkthrough so that whatever context has been established, we can see how the CRM product can actually help to achieve the objective. We can go to the next slide.
Just a second. It's there.
Right. So as we know, the banking and financial service industry, obviously it's a global industry and gets influenced by a lot that is happening in the Western world. They adopt the technology, and then it is becoming, all pervasive and adopted in all the regions. So if you go to the next slide, what we'll find is that what are the typical challenges which are being faced. So one of the most important challenges is the technology disruption itself. And when I say technology disruption, technology itself is disrupting itself also. So there is no technology right now which is kind of a static. So whatever is coming in 1 year, you will find that certain new things are, evolving. So this in itself, the rate of change at which the technology is changing is at a disruptive level at the moment. And on top of it, as we all know, the COVID and the pandemic situation has created the biggest digital disruption. So because the offices are closed, you have to maintain social distancing, and hence people are adopting technology almost for all areas of of life. It is just not banking, it is education and healthcare everywhere. So this change of technology, this disruption of technology creates a lot of challenges, not only from the way the new products will get defined, the way the products will be offered and served to the customer, also the managing the customer experience, because the customers are becoming very, very digital savvy. Their expectation of how they want to be served is changing by the day. And whichever industry or bank or specific player will not be able to cope up with the technology, they will also be losing the customers, because customers, when they get used to technology, they don't compromise. If we go to the next. So these are certain, again, very key statistics, which you'll find that, and these are all done by, various organizations who have created these research papers. So important point is, one, this generation Y, the younger generation. So they are not your age-old, loyal customers. They will be much more experimental. If they find experience better in a different bank, they'll switch over. So with this younger generation, customer retention will be one of the challenges for the customers. If you don't serve them well, and this will also be the generation which will have more spending power. So it is a lucrative customer base, but a difficult customer base to retain. Online and digital banking is now becoming the norm. So you can't, have a choice but to have it as an offering, and also the prime offering. 80% of the customers will switch wherever they are getting personalized services. I will like to always receive offers which are more meaningful to me. I don't want to see generic SMS, generic emails. I feel good when my bank sends me what is relevant to me, what is specific to me. It gives me a sense that my bank knows me. But this is not the case with every bank. So these, if you'll see today, customers obviously they use a lot of applications, right? Be it Uber, WhatsApp, Facebook, online shopping. So their expectation from the quality of the digital banking, the type of services. So it is, what is very important is that for the customers, it is diversified industries which are setting the benchmark. If you go to online shopping, you'll see that whether it is Amazon or others, the type of customer service that they provide. So customers are experiencing that. So they will obviously have similar level of expectation from other industries and other providers as well. So this put in the sense that serving the customer with products which are specifically tailored to their needs in the way they want to be served using technology and the available channels is going to be one of the biggest transformation, and this will be a continuous transformation. As I said, technology will keep evolving, so it will never be that you'll select one thing and it has all the functionality that you need, which is where companies like Microsoft, so they invest into R&D, they invest into technology. It is not within the wherewithal of any organizations like Oli Technologies or Agile to invest. So we implement the platforms which are created by Microsoft, where we get the assurance that yes, whatever technology will come, they will keep embracing that technology and make the solution always relevant to the customer. So if we go to the next slide. So here what is important, even from the emerging markets. So we just don't have to see that what is happening in the advanced countries. Even in the emerging markets, the top challenge is for, attracting new customers, retaining the talent, enhancing customer experience, and serving the customers through multiple channels. So omni-channel, as we all know, now today is the reality of life. So these are the key challenges which are faced by the industry. And I'm pretty sure all the banks in Nepal will also go through the same. So in different proportions, it will still be the same challenge. And these will, if they are not there, they will definitely come very soon. People will be demanding. So if these are the challenges, then what exactly does the CRM do? How does it help a bank? What areas will it cater to? If I go to the next slide. So a typical bank will have branches, which was the conventional route. Then they started with ATMs. You have the call center to handle the customer service. And now you add the digital layer, which will be, you may have internet banking, the mobile banking. So this is the infrastructure per se for a bank. And on top of this, if you'll add, a bank will have products, whether it is relevant for the retail banking or the corporate banking. There will be channels, as we mentioned in the below picture, that through which we will have to serve the customers. You'll have different customer segments. Now, even within retail and corporate, you can have different customer segments by region, by age group, by industry, and which is where you manage and maintain the customer profile. So this is the structure and a high level operations of the bank. So how does CRM works? Number one, your interactions with the customer, are they timely? And are you in a position to offer, contextual products and offerings to your customers? Obviously, to do this, you need to know your customers. You need to tailor products which are specific to customer segments and specific to region also. And then you have to see that how you can communicate these products to your customers. The second thing is you have these conventional channels, but the ROI and the cost which is there on the digital obviously is much, much more cost effective. So what is the channel migration strategy? And I know that in a country like Nepal, this will again be one of the most important things because a lot of customers still do the banking at the branch. So they are used to of doing the banking at the branch. So one of the challenges will be that how can we do the channel migration? How can we shift? And there will always be, a lot of resistance within the thought process within bank itself, and then also the customers. So it will require rigorous digital marketing. It will require education, incentivization, and these campaigns can't be just one-time campaign. It has to be a sustained campaign which has to be run to move the customers from costly channels to the more cost-effective channels. So that is the second objective, which will drive a lot of digital marketing and other aspects. Third, obviously, in the CRM, we want to capture the data of the customer, right? Not only the data. Every bank is, highly regulated. So your quality of data, your compliances with related to the data, this is all very, very important. So the quality, whether it is the normal KYC processes having updated and processes related to that. So that's the third pillar from a overall CRM standpoint, that can we collate and create all healthy data which can be used for regulation and compliance. And then the fourth and the last but not the least, I need to develop a lot of insights about my customer. So while we have a very regular process called KYC, which is know your customer, have you implemented it internally? Do you know your customers? What insights do you have about your customers, about their, the type of products that they have subscribed to, about their, social demographic profile, about their preferences? We need to figure out what all opportunities are there for cross sell or upsell. We obviously will be creating a lot of new products. So finding out which one are the profitable customer segments, what product will even further increase the profitability. This all insight is the fourth pillar, which if you are capturing data, if you can't generate information out of that, then it will be of no use. So I'll say these are the four core pillars which set the base for the CRM. And if I can just blow it further, so I'll say there are 7 key elements of business which get driven by the CRM. Number 1 is customer self-service. You will like your customer to self-serve. Every customer loves to be in a position to self-serve 24/7, 365 days at time of his convenience, which is where digital banking takes the lead. Mobility. Because even with intern ATMs, it became a physical challenge to keep them running all the time. So how can customers self-serve? That will be one of the prime target and functionality that has to be enabled. Second is obviously getting new customers. So customer acquisition for any business is always a very important thing. This is across industry, and obviously nothing new for business. Banks also, they need to get new customers. So how can the lead and opportunity management? Now lead and opportunity management will mean whether it is retail customer or it is a corporate customer. Am I using only my sales team, or do I have partner network? How do I enable the partner network to reach out and be in a position, because it will involve education of the partner network to understand my products, my offerings. If it is my sales team, I again have to educate them, and not only educate, I need to see that how do I manage the efficiency of the sales team? Because if they have to go to the customer 2 times, 3 times, then we have to see what was the reason why they have to do multiple touch points. How can it be done in the first time right? How can they do their time management? Do we have the visibility that, are we covering the entire area? Are we covering all the customer segments? Are we covering all the key important segments? So my penetration, geo penetration strategy, all this gets defined as part of my lead and opportunity management. We do always have corporate customers where we have to, not only for corporate customers, you also have high net worth customers, HNI. So you need to do a lot of relationship management and account management. So do I have a regular touch point? Do I have the complete visibility of the corporate and the group companies and who are the important contacts, the influencers? What has been the trend? Have they in the past refer other customers? Do I maintain that link? So my periodicity and frequency of maintaining the touch points with these corporate customers, I should know what my competitors are doing, because my competitors will also reach out to the same customers. And then I have to retain these customers. So I have to have the functionality where I can record that, okay, for my this customer, who is my competitor, what is my strategy to, maintain the customer, retain the customer. And all this should not be in the mind of a salesperson only. This is a very important asset for the bank. But where are you currently recording this asset? If this asset is in the mind or just the Excel sheets, it is very easy to lose that asset. And hence, getting these kind of things in the CRM makes a bank much more process driven, asset driven. Now, if we want to create products for the customer, we need to know what is their need. To know their need, we need to go and talk to them. How to reach out to them? There are so many, right? Now, this is where, again, the digital journey of taking the feedback, of reaching out to the customer, of segmenting the customer, going one segment at a time. So different product managers can create their own customer segments. They may reach out to the customers. So just to take an example, there may be a customer segment which is, let's say, all the exporters or importers. Now they may have, requirements related to the forex products. They may have requirements related to working capital and other things. Whereas there is another segment which is the new generation, under 30 young, people in the service industry. Their requirement may be of a different lifestyle products, which may be credit cards. They go out in the restaurants and whatnot. So reaching out to these different segments obviously will require you to create the segments. To how easily can we have the information about the segments, and then what are the ways and means of getting their feedback. So this is where the voice of the customer has to be recorded. Sorry, the next. We discussed that unless we get the insights about the customer, that what has been his past trend, because simply put, we like to know that what should be the next best action that I can do for a customer. He has taken 3 products, but in my portfolio, I have 15 products. Out of the remaining 12, which one is the right product that I should now offer him? To do this analysis, I will have to have a lot of data and do correlation analysis and different kind of AI driven analytics, which helps, because these can't be just done manually. So that is where the AI and ML today is playing the role, that they can actually, the algorithms will run and will tell an agent that what is the next best action and what he should be talking if a customer calls up. Go in the next. As I said, it's a world of collaboration. No organization can just work only with the own staff and own employees. You'll always have a lot of partners. You may have network, and you have to work with the partner in the network. So how the collaboration model can work? right? Again, there will be contact, there will be processes, workflows, how the, you know, education will be done. And last but not the least is the marketing and the event management. So as I said, marketing is now all becoming digital marketing primarily. Previously, a lot of events were happening, but now because of pandemic situation, the events have also become digital. So it is not that they will always remain the same. The road shows and other things, the classic events, they will still come back, but there will always be a mix of digital and physical events happening. So how the events can be organized, who should be the target segment, recording the response, measuring the ROI. So these are the 7 functional areas which I feel get catered to by the CRM software. Once you implement the related processes, it enables different user personas, which may be either the contact center, which is handling the customer service, or the marketing department, or it could be the business development or the sales people, the key account managers. Now, key account managers may not only be, the branch managers, or it can even be the top management, because the top management will be interacting with the counterpart in the customers on the customer side. Let's go to the next. So broadly, you'll have retail, corporate, SME, affluent banking. You may have all the structure. You want to get a 360-degree view of the customer, marketing campaigns, account management, account origination in terms of, when you are doing the different loans, Salesforce automation, lead management, loyalty and customer service. So these are the key areas or modules, as we may say, which kind of belong to the CRM side. And obviously, so now what I'll do is, yeah, we can move to the next. So I'll like to highlight, let's say, related to marketing. So we will be going through, because we'll like to demonstrate the product and set the context. So just I'm setting the context that, let's say, from a digital marketing point of view, with what agility can you innovate and create new products, right? So this is obviously a big challenge, and this will never be, there cannot be a benchmark which I'll say, oh, I've achieved that and I'm very good, because every time the benchmark will be reset by another competitor. So it will be such a continuous thing that I'll have to see what the competition is doing. I'll have to see what my customers are demanding. In certain cases, the good banks, they will like to be in the front, and the laggard banks, they will be in the catch-up game. So the smart banks, they will be setting the rules, they will be setting up the benchmark for others to follow. And hence, innovation and creation of the new products which are catering to the needs of the customer plays such an important thing. Then the point is that, if we have created a product, it is for which customer segment? How can I quickly create the customer segments? So when I'm saying these customer segments, as I was giving you the example, if I just want to create a segment of all the exporters beyond a turnover size belonging to a particular region, how quickly can I get this information? Do I have to rely on the IT team to go into the IT systems, churn out the data, write some program, and then provide me an Excel sheet? Trust me, this is what I've experienced, happens a lot of places. But expectation in the agile world is that, in the CRM system, the product manager, the business user should be in a position to create a segment where they can define the query themselves. So they don't have to go to the IT systems. They can create their own customer segment, because customer segments will keep evolving. So there's no long list that can be created. Okay, these are the segments. It will keep changing. And then, as I said, for these customers, have we created products which are very specific to them? And then how are we going out to them? Because different segments may be more, aligned to a type of channel also. So whether it is, social media, That could be a channel, or you want to do an email blast, you want to reach out through phone calls, WhatsApp. And in certain areas, if you find that, oh, my segment is actually, people from the rural area who may not be today as tech savvy. So still the field force going out and, talking to them could be the channel. So one point that we want to highlight is that we can create a product and can, run a campaign and advertise it generally across the customer segments across the country. And if you see on the right side, when I'm saying the target, yes, I may keep on throwing my different products and arrows. But then if I just have one big target, which is my all my customers, then I might be unnecessarily hitting a lot in the areas where I should not have focused. So you need to create customer segments which are very specific targets, and then have the right arrow, which is your product, so that you can, make the kill. And hence marketing will help you to do this. So the marketing module of D365. So now what I'll do is, let's see a glimpse of how it will happen in the product. So Achal can walk you through.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir, for that introduction and heads up. So, as Rajiv was saying rightly, in today's world, it is very important to understand and segment your customer base, right? For segmentation, when it comes to segmentation, you need to understand what is the, traits of that segment, right? What are the features, and how will that information come to you via KYC? Now, when we talk about KYC, it resides in multiple systems and multiple information, right? So let's say if a customer information might be residing in a core banking system or in a loan management system, so it's scattered. That is where a customer 360-degree view will help you. The screen that you're seeing right now says and gives you information about one customer. This is a B2B customer, let's say Precision Electronics Private Limited. You can see there are multiple tabs available here. Each tab has been segmented as per the information provided. It starts from the very basic information, what is the name of the account, a brief background, who are the key stakeholders in the organization. Like there is a who are the board of directors, who is the management structure, right? Who are the other people who are working for the organization, right? Then comes, what is the industry of the specific account, what is the PAN number, registration, right? These basic details. All of this information will come from multiple systems, right? Towards the right, you can see there is a summarized information. This is basically giving you an idea as to how many product categories the customer has subscribed to, right? Whether they have loans or accounts, right? um and then I'd like to show you one quick thing, which is key identifiers. As you can see, this information has been collated from CBS, which is the core banking system, loan management system, and another product that's residing there. So all three product information storing in two different systems have led up to this view, which is there, right? Another thing that I want to show you here is the product summary. Right now you can see that this account, okay, has a total fixed deposits of this much amount, has zero savings with us, has a ATM or a POS with us. There are total 300 employees, but we only have 70 payroll accounts, right? Now when you have this information for both, this is for your corporate customer, right? There is a similar view available for your retail customer as well, where they give you again the similar information. What is the gender of the customer, what is the age, to the area that they reside in, right? To their social handles, which is, let's say, email or a mobile number, where, what is their Facebook ID, what is their Instagram handle these days, to the Gen Y. So, and which segment do they belong to? When you have that information available, you can then again customize the products, or you can customize the products for them as per their requirement. You can see that, okay, fine, today let's say if I want to launch a fixed deposit for a specific segment, I can also have an analysis as to which are competitors are there and specifically in this segment have the product, so I can identify those segments here. I can have my product property set up wherein I can say, okay, fine, this is the rate of the fixed deposit and everything. Now, once you have product set up in CRM, what you will do is you will go on and create segments, because now you have this huge knowledge bank with you, this huge database with you, which says, these are your retail customers, these are your 20 lakhs odd corporate customers, right? Here is where you define the segments. In CRM, via this tool, because you have the information available with you, you can define segments. Like I have created 4 segments as of now. There is a aspirational segment in Kathmandu. There are exporters in Kathmandu. Then there are people whose birthdays are coming up in next 5 days, right? So I identify these segments. Now let's say I want to specifically target this segment, which is called, the exporters in Kathmandu, right? How do I capture that? What I've done is I've simply said that, okay, the customers where I have, the address, city, they I have Kathmandu and they belong to industry, which is the exporter industry. So the system will dynamically show me the results that these many members are there currently who are exporters in Kathmandu. Now, what is dynamically? This means that, whoever new customer is getting added to the system, right, to the database, and if he or she, qualifies this specific criteria, they will start coming up in the member section. If you see, what is the beauty of this product is that, we've spoken to customers where they just wanted to run, a 12-hour window for mobile banking incentive. And for that 12-hour window, they had to work with the IT team for 2 days just to get information that which segment they should target. They just wanted to apply a few filters on a database, but they took them 2 days. The beauty of the tool is that within 10 minutes, within 15 minutes, you can quickly, if you are sure about the query, you can come create this list and start targeting your customers. It's that easy. It's that simple. There is no reliance or dependability on the on the, IT team. The marketing teams themselves can drive this, right? Now, once I have my segments defined, now the next step, and I have identified the product, the next step is to basically start campaigning. Go all out, start targeting these customers, right? How would you do that? Again, CRM gives you a place wherein right from the start, very start, wherein you say, okay, fine, now I want to contact the members who contact people who are the segment of these members. I want to send them an email which looks something like this. So now if you see what is happening in this screen right here right now is you see a end-to-end campaign activity plan, right from starting from identifying the customers to sending them an email right from the CRM itself, right, to see checking if they've opened the invite or not. If they've opened, okay, fine, let me do one thing, let me give them a phone call and just give a confirmation. If no, if they haven't opened it, I'll send them a reminder email again just to tell them, okay, fine, the event is approaching and if you want to register, you can register, right? Now, if you see all the digital assets that we talk about during this entire campaign activities can reside here. If you can see on the right side, I have my email template handy here. I can create multiple number. This is just an example. Multiple number of such templates here. I can insert images, content, and everything. Of course, you can get in touch with your agencies as well to do this activity for you. But then those assets which you create will stay here in the same central repository for you, right? Not only these, now this was a very standard channel of communicating customer, which is, email. Let's talk about today's channel, which are social media basically. So you can schedule your social media posts also through marketing in CRM, right? So if you can see, I right now I have scheduled a Facebook post here from here. I have just said that, okay, fine, I've put an image which says, FDs just got better and I've put some content here. So I have got a designer view here. To my right, if you can see, I can just quickly design my templates, my posts over here itself, whether it's a text or an image, or whether I want to, embed a video or a form, I can do it right here, right now only, right? So all the information, all the assets that you have will store here. Of course, one is that. Secondly, let's say now I go ahead and say go live. So what will happen is this specific post will go to Facebook and start gathering the insights. So you can track when was the specific, post created, when was it modified, right? How many leads have this generated? How many accounts, how many contacts have come out of this, right? And if you want to see the specific performance, there is insights tab, which will tell you how many visits has this post gathered, how many unique visits are there, like, there were 1,000 visits, but then only one person visited 7 times, so it will cut down. So such information, to conversion rates, to if there was, a submission, if the user was not able to submit the form, all of that information is available to you in the same application on the same page without any dependency on the IT team. So that is the beauty of the product. It gives you end-to-end information right from identifying the customers to targeting them to capturing their responses and tracking the performance of the campaigns. That's all. Over to you, Rajiv.
Right. So this gives us a glimpse of how we can digitally reach out to the customer. Now the important point is that we have reached out to the customer. Now let's say if the customer has a response. Now how can the customer respond, and now how we will capture those respond and establish the interaction with the customer. So if you go to the next slide, what we'll see is the customer service and the customer experience. Now this is it's such a huge area and such a high important area, because the first thing is, are we in a position to provide consistent experience to the customer or not? Very often we hear this, when it was the time of account opening, I had a different experience, and later on, life is not the same. So these, number two, when the customers have to access different channels, are they getting again consistent experience or not? And it is not that the bank would not like to provide that consistent experience, but the challenge will be, is the bank also enabled from the systems and infrastructure point of view, that where they can collate and get the information from different systems supporting the channels? Because if they are not integrated, then still there will be silos of information. So silos of information is the biggest challenge in terms of providing the consistent experience. And today that world has moved in the area of AI and ML. So what is this AI and ML doing? So we previously had the contact centers. So either the banks will have to run the contact centers into multiple shifts if they wanted to cover 24/7. Then, we started certain online chat, that when we will provide the online chat, because instead of calls, a contact center agent can engage multiple customers on chat, but it was still an agent. Then this chat became, kind of automated. You started feeding them with a static knowledge base. So you'll say, oh, this is the knowledge base. If the customer asks this, you get this answer. Now that is where again the technology is getting disrupted. These chat bots, then came the chat bots. Now chat bots are also becoming intelligent day by day. Now we are at a level where these chat bots can actually get the business context from the business applications and engage with the customers. So this is what is enabling the banks to scale, move to 24/7 without scaling their manpower, without just have to scale the shifts or whatnot. And hence, as you see, is now every bank has this challenge of moving from multiple channels to omni-channel. And CRM will enable that if a customer calls, let's say either the virtual agent is interacting, and then also they should get a good experience. And if virtual agent is not able to answer, can it hand it over to the physical agent? And will the physical agent have all the necessary information, the interaction that happened with the virtual agent, and also the past inquiries, grievances? So will he get complete information so as to serve the customer the first time right? So this is the second important area, and we'll like to walk you through that, how the product can help in this area. Over to you, Aanchal.
So let me just take you all through a quick demonstration how the Power Virtual Agent work, right? So as Rajiv said, there are multiple channels via which the customer can get in touch with you today, right? So one of them, of course, is just quickly going to the website and start chatting with the chat available there. So let's see how Power Virtual Agent can assist your customers in that. Let me quickly beam a video.
Sorry, Achal, I think we are not being able to hear your sound.
Okay, let me present my screen again. Really sorry.
Sure.
Just give me a minute. Can you hear it now?
Yes, perfect.
Great.
This demo shows how to integrate a Power Virtual Agents bot in Dynamics 365 Omnichannel for customer service. Power Virtual Agents let you create intelligent bots using a guided, no-code graphical interface, which reduces your IT costs and frees up your human agents to address more complex issues. First, let's experience this from the customer's point of view. As a customer, I'm having troubles with my Surface laptop. I go to the support site and click on the chat widget. The virtual agent greets me, and I can type my question. The virtual agent is able to send me an article related to my issue. But I also have a question about an order refund. The virtual agent isn't designed to help with refunds, so it will seamlessly hand off my question to a human agent. The human agent accepts the incoming request from the virtual agent and can see the full transcript of the conversation between the customer and the virtual agent. The virtual agent can also send private messages to quickly ramp up the human agent on the issue. The human agent replies, "Happy to help you with your delayed refund." And now you can see the seamless handoff experience as a customer and as an agent.
So this was a quick short video which told you about how the virtual agent can handle the initial traffic on behalf of your support team, and if it's not able to address the customer queries, it can quickly direct it to the agent, right? This is the one way of registering the any sort of tickets or complaints or any inquiries that the customer has. Other way is, of course, the call centers that we have these days in picture, wherein the customer just calls up at the comfort of their home and just tries to reach out to a phone banking customer executive to help them out, right? So in that case also, a seamless CTI integration can be done just to ensure that the customer service agent sitting at your customer service centers can take the calls of the customer vis-a-vis seeing their information and addressing their challenges. Again, we have a very short clipping wherein we can demonstrate you as to how that can be seamlessly done. All right, so right now the screen that you see, it's basically a CRM dashboard which says, public representative dashboard, right? So if you can see, there is just a small tab which says, this is your agent code and agent ID. As of now, what you can see right now is a screen where the customer service agent is sitting and waiting for a call to come, right? Now, let's say the phone starts ringing. So if you can see, there is an incoming call from this number, right? So I can either answer this call or I can ignore this call, right? So if I'm available and I'm free, I can pick this call up. As soon as I answer this call, what will happen is CRM will identify the number given, and if it matches to any of the contacts or accounts in the system, it will automatically pick up and start giving you the phone call form. As you can see, the phone call form from the CRM form has been opened up. It registers the number. It identifies from which contact or the customer this call is coming from to a user which is there, right? And then it tells you to fill in the basic information. So the executive starts filling up the information at his or her end, right? Whether you want to record this call or not, if you want to record, what will be the URL that will set up here, and then you can start capturing what is the issue or the problem or, that the customer is trying to reach out to you for. Right. And once they do that, what will happen is you can quickly start moving along the form and identifying what all problems. So like right now, if you can see, there is this type field which says complaints, request, or inquiry, right? So when a customer tries to reach out to you, it could be for three reasons: whether they have a complaint, whether they are not happy with the services, or they have a request. Let's say they want to place checkbook request, or they want to, manage their account or something else, or they might have a customer inquiry. Let's say I'm interested in a fixed deposit. How would I go about it? So you can identify each call and dispose it off accordingly, and then as per the requirement of customer, you might convert it into a opportunity or a ticket. Let's say if the customer only has a simple request or only has a simple question, what is the current FD rate? I say 7%, and he is not interested in FD anymore. I can just close the call and let it be. If the customer say I would like to, get a FD done, in that case, I'll convert this into an opportunity, assign it to a queue which handles the new account opening or new FD registrations. If the customer has a complaint, wherein they say, okay, fine, my internet banking is not working, or I've lost my password, or I want to reset my debit card and I'm not able to do that. In that case, you can register a complaint or a ticket or a case, whatever term you use in your organization, and allow the create a ticket for the customer. Let me show you how the ticket form, ticket
Achal,
screen
just
looks
one
like.
second.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
I'll just like to mention 2 points here.
sure.
What Achal is mentioning is the conventional phone-based, interaction with a customer. But in today's world, a customer may send an email
Yeah.
in which he may express his or her desire to open a FD, or a email which is related to, inquiry about the rate and whatnot. So the systems are also, intelligent enough that bases the subject line of the email. So you have integration with the email, where the email come and fall into a queue, and basis the subject line of the email, you can further do the assignment of those emails for the next action. And similar kind of thing may also be available even on the IVR, where, through the IVR, they select the option to get an FD done, and then subsequent assignments can be done automatically through automation and the workflows. So even serving, multiple channels, there is a different level of automation which is possible depending upon the type of query and the type of, you know, uh, infrastructure and the teams which are available in a bank. Sorry, go ahead.
Sure. So, as so rightly said, there are multiple channels and multiple ways to reach out to the bank for the customer, and whichever channel they go through, they can come and ensure that their complaint is being heard too. Now, let's say the agent was successfully able to convert the phone call or an email or a chat to a ticket or a case. This is how the screen would look like. It will say which account or the contact is this for, which customer does this complaint or query belong to, right? Has the first response been sent or not? If you can specifically define the SLAs here as to how, in what time, minimum time, the first response should be given to the customer back, right? Within 3 hours of complaint, or within 2 hours of complaint, within one day, whatever your organization policy says, and each ticket can be tracked on that specific SLA. And if an agent is not able to fulfill to that SLA, they can, system can then raise it to the next level of authority and highlight that, okay, fine, this specific case was not worked upon on responding to the customer within the due TAT which has been set, right? Also, you can come down and see as to information, detailed information, what was the title, which product does it belong to, and if there has been some related recent cases which the agent can refer to. This is one screen to look at. Now, a lot of time what happens is, it has happened with me. I'm not sure it's happened with all of you. I end up calling bank to complain about a problem, and then somehow they are so talented, they end up selling me something back. So I am surprised as to what superpower do they have. So this is no other superpower but a CRM. So as soon as you open and you're talking to the customer, you understand their problem. What power it gives to the customer service agent is that they have the customer in hold with us, and they can quickly come back and refer to the customer's page, account page, and see as to what is the customer is doing right now. Now, let's say I called up customer and my name is Vishal and I'm talking. The agent can see that what are my customer insights. So I can see that, Vishal had bought the last product from the bank in 2012, right? That was like 8 years back. And since then, Vishal has not interacted with the bank. So maybe this is for me an opportunity just to quickly go and say, hi. So, you already have this so-and-so product with me, which is a home loan and a savings account. Why don't you go ahead and take a credit card also? You'd already have so much of credibility with the bank. Why don't you do that? Or you do this, or you can come back and enable multiple services. You can see that this person, an average bank person, is working more on online, and this specific person is also working on online. So you can see he's not using mobile app much, so I can give him mobile app offers which are there for him. I can suggest it accordingly. So I will turn customer plight into customer delight, if I am a smart service agent. So such sort of intelligence can be assisted to the agents via CRM when we have this customer 360 available with us, right? That is of course there. Also on the there are multiple dashboards available to track the performance of the customer service agents, right? So you can say how many cases active are there, how many queues are active with the cases, how many high priority cases are involved, and all of that. So you can track the performance of the customer service agents from the system to ensure that the customer service experience provided to your customers is consistent throughout the platforms. Yeah.
Right. If we can just get back in the interest of time,
Yeah,
we can
sure.
come back to the next slide. So we have covered that marketing side, the customer service. Obviously, it is the business development, the lead and opportunity management, which is very important. So Achal had already mentioned and shown you certain things with regard to what you can get to know about your customer, the 360-degree view. Other important area would be the account management. So we were seeing that, do I know all the people in the bank? Have I set up a meeting frequency with the bank? So whosoever is the relationship manager, if he is expected to meet, every month, so are those meetings happening or not happening? And the sales team which is going out, how do they do their visit planning, right? How are they going and mapping the different accounts? What is my penetration? What have I achieved on a daily basis? So I can, manage this entire show there. And obviously, last but not the least, I need to know what my competition is doing. As I said, it's a cutthroat competition out there. So this is related to the business development, and Achal will quickly show you both for the retail as well as the corporate that what
Yeah,
is that can be done. Yeah, Achal.
sure. Thanks. So coming back to CRM. So now again, when it comes to retail and opportunity management, one is that for, specifically for, retail customers can themselves reach out to you, or you can reach out to customers. There could be a branch walk-in, there could be a call, there could be a bot, anything could happen, right? So I'm going to take an example of a phone call. Let's say you run a campaign for a fixed deposit and a customer tries to reach back to you. And the agent picks it up and says, the Mr. Bhandari is interested in applying for our latest FDs and wants to renew existing FD. So there are two specific cases here. So what they can do is the agent can quickly convert this call into an opportunity, and the entire information will flow from the phone call page to the opportunity page. So you can see that Mr. Vishal Bhandari is interested in fixed deposit for an amount of rupees 10 lakh, right? The estimated close date for the specific opportunity would be around 31st December, and you can see other details of Mr. Bhandari. What are the contact details? You can give a descriptive information as to why he's interested, if there are any specific services he requests for, and then you can come and tag specific products. You can come and tag that, okay, fine, he's interested in FD, or if there are multiple products, later turns out he's also interested in a credit card or a loan. So you can have multiple lines in the same opportunity, and you can track the status of documentation, right? So this will help you understand the pipeline each relationship manager has. Also you can track for how long has this opportunity been active, so that you can see if your RMs are sitting on business or not, and you can track them accordingly. And also you can create and capture, multiple activities, which whether it's a phone call or an email, everything can be sent via CRM itself and will be getting captured in the page of the customer itself. So if you see the contact of Mr. Bhandari, you can see all the phone calls, all the, emails that have been received from him at the same page currently, right? This is with specific to a quick brief about retail opportunity. When it comes to B2B customers, right? I'd quickly like to talk about, a detail about their 360. It is very important to see how your organization, your bank is performing vis-a-vis the organization's business, right? So I can see that for this specific customer, last year there was a 43% growth in turnover and a 30% growth in profit. That is for the customer. How much have I benefited? What is my pocket share out of this profit? How much growth do I have in the deposits? I can capture that and I can track my sales team against that as to, if this customer is earning more profit, why is it not coming into our pockets, right? So that's that. Also, I can see the competitive analysis. I can see who all other banks are involved in the picture. What are the privileges that the other banks are offering, to the specific customer, and what is the RM's penetration strategy to get this account into my bank's kitty, right? So I can track that. And if this is happening, I can quickly see what strategies are available for each account. Now, this is all about the account planning, right? I can also see what deals are in pipeline for this account and how much revenue is coming out of it. Now, let's say a RM has 200 or 300 accounts in their portfolio, right? How do a RM ensure that which accounts am I visiting in coming month, right? And how frequently I'm visiting and how do I prioritize that? That is where we have a specific piece or a functionality wherein, which is called visit planning, wherein you plan your month, your week, and your day, and you see which all customers you're visiting, right? So an RM can come and create a visit plan for themselves. I have, like, for example, right now created a weekly plan for me. I say for this week, how much accounts and leads do I want to touch base? So I can get to know, okay, fine, I have these many leads. I can select which accounts I want to touch base, and I can mention the date where, as and when I want to visit, and it will just create and go ahead and create the meetings for me and schedule them, and they'll start appearing in my calendar. So this way, when I've planned my month or week in advance, not only I can ensure that my week is planned, even my managers can track my performance, and they can also see as to what is the plan of the sales teams. Are they investing their time into accounts accordingly? And you can track, which accounts are they frequently visiting, or if they haven't visited any important account, you can track them and check as to what are they doing, right? So this gives you a very close window to track your reps time. Yeah,
Right.
that's that.
So I think what we have given is a very very high level quick overview of what is the relevance of CRM for the banking industry and how the system can. Obviously, there are a lot of use cases, lot of areas where we can go into details. So this was just a high level overview, and if there is any interest, we'll be more than happy to conduct and organize a one-on-one demo where we can pick up specifics and then do a detailed demo. So over to you, Rajat.
Yes, thank you, Rajiv sir, and thank you, Achalji, for your excellent presentation. So yeah, since there's a lot of information now flowing around, I'm sure our participants have a few questions they'd like to be answered. So I have just unmuted you. I have just allowed you to unmute yourself. So what you can do now is, if you have any questions, you can either raise your hand using the hand raise option in Teams, or you can simply unmute yourselves, introduce yourselves, and ask your questions. Or if you are not able to do that, you can also write them in the chat box. Yeah, are there any questions? Okay, we have a hand raised from Sanjeev sir. Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for your nice presentation. I have one question is, you have already, this is the total product, the total solution, the CRM. So that can we implement only like a contact center regarding this project?
Yes,
Can
you
we
can.
implement the phase wise, not like all the things in one time, but based on the phase wise, can we implement?
Yes, you can implement phase wise. You can pick up one functional area like contact center or the
Yes.
customer service area, and then you may start marketing or the other areas. You can do that.
Implement means can we install only like a contact center? First of all, first phase. If I have first phase, only
Yes.
want to implement contact center.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So Microsoft actually has multiple apps. So they have a sales app, they have a customer service app, they have a marketing app. The
Okay, sir. Okay.
overall app. So you may only implement the customer service app for the contact center.
And for your information, we already announced our tender regarding the contact center.
Okay.
And I'm Sanjeev
Sure.
from Citizens Bank.
Sure.
You can contact in our GST department and receive the
We'll do that.
RFP. Yeah. Okay, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Sanjeev sir, for your question. We also have another question in the chat box from Mr. Srijan Malla. His question is, do you provide the customer lifetime value within the CRM? Over to you, Rajiv sir.
Yes, that is always the prime objective of any CRM, and to achieve the customer lifetime value, obviously, as we were showcasing that we maintain the customer journey with us, not only through the products and services that the customer has bought and done the business with us, plus also the referrals and the commensurate revenue stream that the bank would have created. So yes, to answer your question, we do provide the customer lifetime value, and that is a very important KPI for, especially for the B2B and key accounts that use a lot.
Yes, he also has a follow-up question to that. It says, could you explain the matrix based on which the CLTV is calculated?
So it is not just a standard one. Depending upon what we are seeing is for different organizations, it can vary the way we are calculating and what KPIs we want to include as part of that matrix.
Right, Mr. Srijan, I hope that answers your question. Moving on, are there any more questions we're taking? If yes, you can unmute yourselves and you can also type them in the chat box.
Hi, this is Ramchandra from Sanima Bank.
Hello,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah, do you have the video KYC and like the loan origination also included in this CRM, or is the next is not included in this model?
Loan origination is not part of the standard CRM. It requires customization either in this, or there may be a existing loan origination system with which integration can be done to get the relevant information.
And in area of video KYC?
So video KYC obviously is possible because that's the technology part. So that is very much possible depending upon, again, the use cases, that what all is being done. But that's definitely a standard technology feasibility.
Yeah. In addition, that can we integrate with the biometric solution also?
You can. Again, it all depends on what biometric solution you are using and what is the point of integrations. What all information do we want to take into is it just the attendance, or is it more than attendance that you want to record and take? Is it for the authorization? So it can, integration being a Microsoft, I'll say it is open for integration with any system, which is open for integration. And then different level of integrations can be done.
Okay, thank you.
What I'll suggest is that even later on, if there are any questions, feel free to, email those questions, and we'll be more than happy to take them and answer them to the best of our abilities.
Sir, can you elaborate regarding the omni-channel? Regarding the features of omni-channel, what type of supported through the omni-channel? Can you elaborate?
So from an omni-channel standpoint, today, the way the customers can reach out to the bank, be it email, social media, phone call, these are the, or it is a walk-in customer. So this is where, what we cater to, that we cater to all these possible channels, which are the point of interaction with the customer. And through whichever way, so I may start my interaction with the bank by sending an email, but then I follow it up with a phone call. And if it is for the same case, so it is all getting logged in the common CRM. In the CRM, I'll be able to see my interaction per channel, whatever the channel was used, and whatever information was provided through a channel is already there. So
It's already built-in features.
So yeah, these are all built-in features. It will only depend that when I have to do the integration with your telephony, depending upon what telephony you are using, for the IVR integration or the telephony integration, that will have to be done. But it caters to all these channels.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I think then.
Sir, can you share this nice presentation to us?
Yes, let's.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right, everyone. I think now that we have arrived towards the end of our session, I would like to remind you once again that the recording of this webinar, as well as the slide, will be mailed to you in the days to come for your reference. And I think if there's no more questions we want to take, I think we are ready to wrap this up. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Have a good day. Stay safe, and we'll see you again in the next event. Thanks, everyone, for your time. Thank you, Rajiv, sir. Thank you, Aanchal, and thank you, all the participants.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Take care.